And the ball comes out to number 10, Tony Greer. Greer passing out top to Jim Granholm. And the South Florida offense is on the way. Granholm left side over to Vince Reynolds. Reynolds passing it back to Granholm. Huskies playing that man-to-man defense, and they're playing a wide-open defense as Granholm passes the ball over to Tony Greer, and Greer will start up at the point guard position. Greer being guarded by Carl Hobbs, dribbles down the right side, passes it into the corner to a wide-open Charles Bradley. Bradley holding the ball high above his head, looking down low, can't see anybody open, and hands it back to Tony Greer. The Huskies are keeping the inside pretty clogged up, and no balls have gone in there. This is Tony Greer driving towards the middle, takes a jumper, and he connects. And for Greer, it's 10 points this evening, and quickly South Florida within 2, 29-27, and the Huskies coming back the other way. This is Hobbs in the right corner to Mike McKay. McKay looking towards the basket, gets it back out to Hobbs. Hobbs top of the key over to Norman Bailey to Thompson, into the corner to Mike McKay. And if South Florida's defense holds, they're going to have a chance to tie this game up. Pass down low to Alex Innes. He throws up a shot, but it was blocked nicely down low. And South Florida will come back the other way and try to tie this one up. This is Tony Greer across half court, getting it over to Granholm, the 7-foot center forward who's been playing forward most of this game as Willie Redden has been in the contest. Pass goes on the left side over to Charles Bradley. Bradley out to Tony Greer, and Greer at the point guard position again will try to start up that Bull offense. And Greer in left corner gets a pass stolen by Thompson. Thompson dribbling it around, gets it knocked out of bounds by Greer, and so the Huskies will get the ball out right in front of the South Florida bench, but the Huskies getting the ball back on a big turnover, trying to keep this lead versus South Florida. Carl Hobbs controlling the ball in his side of the forecourt, passing the right side over to Mike McKay. McKay back out. The Hobbs bounce pass to Bailey. Bailey dribbles once over at the foul line. Jumper in and out. Rebound tapped up. Control by Thompson on the baseline. Long jumper off the rim. Rebound tapped up again. Kept in play, and it's now loose on the ground. And diving for it is Bailey. What a play! And the Huskies control. So the Huskies getting some very good offensive rebounding down low. They're keeping that ball up with some nice taps. And they still have control of it. 2-point lead, 29-27, 18:05 to go. Hobbs from 20, bang! Hobbs, his first 2 points of the evening. Here the Huskies had 4-point lead. And here's a three-quarters court press, man-to-man for the Connecticut Huskies. Charles Bradley controlling the ball. Norman Bailey on him, a pair of 30s going at it. And Bradley crosses half court. Bailey bumping him, no call. Bradley now picks up his dribble. Cross-court pass over to Willie Redden. Redden back over to Granholm. And Granholm going back door to a wide-open Greer, but a shot blocked by Bailey. And he gets it up to Hobbs, and we have a 2-on-2 break. Hobbs coming down the middle. Left side of McKay. Shot up, and a whistle beforehand. And a charge being called against Carl Hobbs. Hobbs not liking that very much at all, but that's the call. The first team foul for either team here in the second half. 17:35 to go. Connecticut 31, South Florida 27. And now inbounding the ball will be South Florida, and getting it is Vince Reynolds. Reynolds looking to pass it to a guard, and Charles Bradley comes out and gets it. Bradley was a forward at the beginning of the season, converted to a guard, a very tall one, 6'6", and he dribbles across half court as he's guarded by Bailey. Cross-court pass goes over to Vince Reynolds on the far side, and hands it over to Tony Greer, and Greer will try to see if somebody's open underneath. So their offense can go. Here's an alley-oop down low to Reynolds. Reynolds throws it up and in. As Reynolds caught the ball, then he's got himself set and came up with his fourth point for the evening. 31-29 in this game, which looked to be a Connecticut blowout, is now very, very close. A 2-point lead for the Huskies. They have the ball. Here's Hobbs. Hobbs dribbling the ball around, top of the key to Bailey. Right side of Thompson. He fakes a shoot, pass in the corner to McKay. Jumper, and he hits. McKay hits double figures, 10 points. Connecticut 33, South Florida 29. A whistle. Let's see what we're going to have. The referee going to talk to Mike McKay about something. He might see a bloody lip or something wrong, and they're talking to Don Perno about it. And I'm sure it might be a bloody lip. Maybe something's wrong, but I guess now it's okay. As Tom Pike, the trainer, went out to see exactly what was wrong. The referee just did not see something like it. I think it was a bloody lip. And he'll stay in the game. 16:49, the play is stopped, and South Florida again will take the ball out. Huskies in a full-court man-to-man press. This is number 30, Charles Bradley controlling the ball. Pass over to Tony Greer. Greer crosses half court, and he is trying to get around Carl Hobbs. Greer playing on the far sideline, dribbling the ball around the 28-foot mark, gets it out top to Vince Reynolds. Reynolds looking down low, passes left side to Bradley. Bradley driving down the lane, throws up a shot, and he goes over. Chuck Alex Innes for 2 points, and Bradley picks up point number 4. And again, the lead is cut down to 2 points. Hobbs, right side over to McKay. McKay back out to Hobbs, top of the key over to Bailey, left side to Thompson. In the corner to Mike McKay. McKay looking down low, can't see anybody open. Now the pass comes out around, swung to the right side over to Tony Thompson. Thompson hands it over to Hobbs, who almost loses the handle on it. Quickly he picks it back up. Now he's doing some dribbling to try to get around Charles Bradley, as it looks like it's going to be still a man-to-man defense played by South Florida. Here's McKay from the corner. His jumper no good. Rebound Thompson, and he hits. Thompson, a good offensive rebound, his 8th point on the evening. 35-31, Huskies up by 4, 15-49 to go in the championship game of the Connecticut Mutual Classic. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau here on WHUS Stores, Connecticut. And this is Tony Greer on the left side. Alley-oop pass down low to Reynolds, but he can't control it. A big turnover for South Florida, and the Huskies have a chance to bring up that lead back to 6 points. As Thompson will inbounds it underneath the South Florida basket. No pressure at all by South Florida. They're picking up their men right around half court. Hobbs, the point guard for Connecticut, coming down, dribbling with his left hand towards the left side, looking for some openings in the South Florida defense. Pass to Thompson, top of the key. Back to Hobbs on the left side, back to Thompson. They're passing it back and forth now. Right side to Bailey, down low to McKay. McKay trying to play inside, throws a fadeaway jumper. Rebound down low by Thompson, but I believe it was knocked out of bounds. And they're going to say last touch by Thompson. I can't quite agree with that play. And the crowd not too happy. Thompson really didn't get too much of a hand on it. South Florida, I thought, got a little bit more, but that's the way the call is going to be. And we're going to have a substitution. Dave Bastian checking in and Charles Bradley taking a seat on the bench. So Bastian, who's a little bit more of a ball handler than Bradley, as the Huskies have been playing this full court man-to-man. We'll see if Bastian can break it a little bit more easy. Bradley gets across half court. Gets it over to Tony Greer. Greer played all 40 minutes last night versus LaSalle, but sat out a little bit in the early going in the first half. Grandholm gets passed right side over to Bastian. Bastian top of the key over to Vince Reynolds again. Reynolds being guarded by Thompson. Left side gets it over to Grandholm one more time. Back on top to Tony Greer. Greer now dribbling the ball around. Greer holding the ball now, looking to see what he can do. Grandholm only held to 4 points. Some very good defense by the Huskies. Another big play. Vince Reynolds only had 4 points as Thompson's been doing a job on him. This is number 23, Bastian. Bastian on top to Greer. Greer dribbles once. A long jump for 20 hits. 12 points for Tony Greer, and the Huskies are going to take the ball out of bounds. He's averaging 19 points on 42% shooting. Doing a fine job tonight. 14 and a half minutes to go. Connecticut 35, South Florida 33. Exciting action of the Connecticut Mutual Classic. This is Bailey, top of the key to Thompson, left side to McKay. McKay had a notion to shoot. Back out to Thompson. Thompson from the top of the circle. Bang! Thompson is in double figures. He has 10. McKay has 10. 5 for Alex Innes. 4 each for Kaczynski and Bailey. And the Huskies on top, 37-33. This is Bastian being badgered there by Carl Hobbs. Hands it over to Tony Greer. And guarding Greer is Norman Bailey. Greer right around the middle of the court, going to the left side. Gets a pass top of the key to Grandholm. Grandholm passing into the corner for Vince Reynolds. A long jumper. In and out. Rebound down low, McKay. McKay starts dribbling the ball down the court. Gets it over to Hobbs. And Hobbs will start playing playmaker. And he goes down between two South Florida players over to Bailey. Long jumper. Bang! Norman Bailey coming up with point number 6, and Connecticut on top by 6 points, 39-33. And Bastian controlling the ball for South Florida. Bastian spinning around, almost losing the ball to Haas, but still controlling his dribble. On the left side, looking down low. Husky playing good denial defense down low. Here's a pass to Reynolds. Reynolds goes down low to Redden. Redden goes around. McKay throws him a shot, a whistle. And I believe we're going to get a foul call down, Mike McKay. The second foul of the half. Both of those being assessed to the Connecticut Huskies. So McKay will pick up his first foul of the contest. And Redden will go to the line to shoot on the season. Willie Redden shooting 47% from the free throw line, only 15 for 32. And the substitution coming into the game, number 32, who we do not have on any of our rosters. Matter of fact, we're going to check that right now.
I'll check that.
Okay, we got a check on that. Jorge Ascordia. Jorge Ascordia checking in for the first time. He played quite a bit versus LaSalle. Redden shot in and out. Ascordia played 21 minutes, scored 8 points, and had 7 rebounds, and he's checking in for the first time in this contest. And now Redden going, and he misses the second one. Rebound goes back out to Redden. No Porter with fundamentals. He drives, he shoots, he misses. Rebound down low to Thompson, and there's now a fight down low, and it's going to go out of bounds. I believe last touch by South Florida, so Connecticut will get the ball right back. I'm going to correct myself. Jorge Ascordia has already played 2 minutes in this contest. Must have came in when I was sleeping. But the Huskies have control of the ball. And this is Carl Hobbs. It's a man-to-man zone, or it's going to be a half-court trap employed there by South Florida. Hobbs on the left side dribbling. Bounce pass down low to Alex Innes. Long jumper off the rim. Rebound Thompson down low. He dribbles once, and he gets his shot blocked by Redden. Rebound goes to Greer, and Greer's going to have a fast break. Greer on Norman Bailey. A block by Hobbs. And what a play! Hobbs, a 5'8" ball player, rejected Tony Greer. So the Huskies' 6-point lead is still intact, but South Florida will take the ball underneath their own basket. And Dave Bastian will take the ball out.
Checking in the Connecticut lineup. Florida lineup will be Jim Granholm, and sitting down will be number 30, Charles Bradley.
Ball goes out of bounds. We have a whistle. Let's see the last touch. I think they're going to redo it all over again. Nope, they're going to say last touch by Connecticut. And South Florida will take it out one more time. 12:50 to go here in the game at 39-33.
Correction on that. Coming out of the contest will be number 53, Willie Redden.
Tony Greer on the left side holding the ball. Being guarded by Bailey. Makes a nice spin move on Bailey, but doesn't really get anywhere. Passes down low on a nice dish to Reynolds. He puts it up and in, and a whistle and a foul. So a nice play there by Vince Reynolds, as Reynolds connects for his 6th point on the evening.
And a very pretty pass by Tony Greer, who almost faked like he was going to take the basket himself, shoveled the pass inside. And Reynolds draws the foul, and he'll have a chance to convert and make it 3 and cut the lead to 3 points. It's 39-35, Connecticut with 12:37 to go.
Reynolds shooting 63% from the free throw line, connects. And for him on the night, that's his 7th point. So all the Huskies' hard work is made the cut and the lead to 3 points. Connecticut 33, USF 36. I'm ready to say San Francisco. But South Florida 36. Huskies controlling the ball. 12:25 to go. This is Norman Bailey right side to Thompson. Thompson looking down low. Bounce pass over to Mike McKay on the near sideline. Now pass comes out around to Thompson. Long jumper from 15. Front of the rim. Tapped up by Alex Sinis and controlled by the South Floridians. And coming up with it is Vince Reynolds on a nice big rebound. Reynolds gets it over to Tony Greer. South Florida has a chance to cut the Husky lead to 1. Greer on the far sideline trying to dribble around Bailey. Can't do so. Passes over to Scordia. Scordia gets on the right side to Reynolds again. And Reynolds passes all the way out to Dave Bastian. Bastian going one-on-one on Hobbs. Goes behind his back. Gets a pass over to Granholm. His long jumper no good. Rebound Thompson. And the Huskies have the ball stolen by Reynolds. And he dunks it. So Thompson loses the ball to Reynolds, who comes up with his 9th point, and the Huskies want to talk things over. Timeout on the court. It's going to be the Huskies 39, South Florida 38, and the Huskies are going to send in Bruce Kaczynski and Vernon Giscombe for Carl Hobbs, and I believe Mike McKay. I'm not sure on that. We'll have to check that. But a couple substitutions for the Huskies as they saw a very big lead just dwindle down to 1. 11:44 to go. They're having their problems now. Just a few slight problems, but it's keeping South Florida in the contest.
An 11-point lead they had right before the half. It dwindled down to 4 at the half, and now the Huskies have seen it go down to 1. I don't know exactly what they've got to do. I think it's more fundamental than anything else. They've just got to start playing more defensive defense and a little more crispness in the passes on the offense.
As we mentioned a little bit earlier, our officials this evening, Dick Lynch, Mickey Crowley, and Larry Lembo. They're doing a pretty good job. They're letting the Huskies play. Only 3 fouls in the second half, all assists to UConn. In the first half, it was pretty foul-less also. Only 12 called. So that's not too bad at all. The all-time record versus UConn for South Florida is 0-2 in 72-73. They lost to the Huskies 84-67, and of course last year they lost 65-55. And reading the program a little bit earlier, you know where Tony Greer would most like to visit?
Spain.
No, the moon. That guy is out of here, but Tony Greer shoots like he comes from the moon because he's a one fine ball player. 12 points, he's leading all scorers.
I figured South Pennsylvania.
That's where Lee Rose started off. Can you imagine that? Starting off in Transylvania, there's nowhere to go but up. 11:43, ball inbounds. Huskies controlling. In the backcourt, it's going to be Bailey along with Giscombe. Forecourt, it's McKay, Kaczynski, and Thompson. So it was Alex Sinis checking on that last time out. McKay in the left corner gets it over to Giscombe. Top to Bailey, back to Giscombe. Giscombe loses control of the ball, gets it back to Bailey. Bailey drives down the middle, pulls up, shoots, and hits. Norman Bailey with his 8th point in South Florida will start up underneath the Connecticut basket. 11:22 to go. 41-38. Huskies on top again by 3 points. And this is Dave Bastian controlling. He's being guarded there by Vern Giscombe. Bastian crosses midcourt, and Giscombe really doing a job on him, trying to draw the offensive foul. No call. Referee is not falling for it. Tony Greer now getting the ball. Greer going one-on-one with Norman Bailey. Passing left side into the corner for Vince Reynolds, who woke up here in the second half. Gets around. Kaczynski drives towards the basket. Blocked by Norman Bailey. And there might have been a foul called there, but there was no whistle, so it's going to be an inbounds ball by South Florida. But Vince Reynolds getting a little bit intimidated there as Bailey came up out of nowhere and blocked that one. Less than 11 minutes to go. Connecticut on top by 3, 41-38, the finals of the Connecticut Mutual Classic. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau. This is Dave Baskin dribbling on the right sideline, trying to get around Jiscom. Gets in the corner to Reynolds. Reynolds looking down low. A couple players spill. No foul call. Reynolds now being badgered there by Kosinski. Gets a pass in the middle. It's stolen there by Vern Jiscom. Huskies on a 3-on-1 break. Jiscom down the middle. Left side to Bailey. Bailey loses it. Picks it up and hits. 10 points for Bailey, the third Husky in double figures, and Connecticut's now on top by 5, 43-38. And they're in that man-to-man zone, which has worked so well. Our man-to-man defense was run. Steal by Bailey as he steals the pass from Bassi, lays it up, and it's going to be goaltending. So Bailey hits. That man-to-man defense is working as Bailey steals, and listen to this crowd. 10 minutes and 24 seconds to go, and South Florida wants to talk this thing over. Huskies on top by 7. South Florida was just getting back in there, but that defense finally clamped down and started doing their business. They got a little bit quicker of a team in there as they put Alex Sinnis on the bench. And look at what's going on now. The Huskies are starting to take control of this game. A very smart call by Lee Rose in calling that timeout. Only 3 more left for South Florida, 4 left for the Connecticut Huskies.
I'm impressed, Harold, with the way that Norman Bailey has been playing the last couple of nights. He's got the hot hand at the current moment. I don't know how long it's going to last, but Norman looks good. He's got 10 points tonight.
12 points tonight.
12 points.
He had 12 last night also.
And Vernon Jiscom looks like he's really hustling on defense. So if the Huskies can keep trying to get into the big man, Corny Thompson, and Mike McKay comes around with his hot hand, as both men have been doing a pretty good job themselves, Norman Bailey is just a plus for them, and I can't see anything but good news as they have a 7-point lead, 45-38 with 10:24 to go.
One thing you have to remember, the Huskies, with that big lead last night, had a lot of chance to rest, and they might be a little bit more well-rested in South Florida. The player who played the most was Mike McKay and Corny Thompson, and they only played 29 minutes, so they had quite a time to rest. South Florida had a few players with 30 minutes. Tony Greer played the whole contest last night, so they're a little bit, maybe a little more tired, but they have depth on their bench. Now we have a whistle and a quick foul picked up by Vern Jiscom as he was trying to make the steal. South Florida has no team fouls here in the second half for the Huskies. That's their 4th team foul, and Jiscom picks up his 1st. So a nice try by Jiscom. It didn't work out. The Huskies still with the full court man-to-man press. They're going to try to come up with a steal, and Jiscom guarding number 23, Dave Bastion. Bastion taking the ball handling duties. It's across half court, passes over to Grandholm. Left side gets to Escordia. The ball goes out and around to Tony Greer, and Greer being guarded by Norman Bailey. Greer dribbling on the right side, now trying to spin towards the middle. Bailey playing some good defense. Now he goes towards the middle, throws up a shot around the rim, and it falls for Greer, his 14th point of the evening. And quickly the Huskies come back the other way. Jiscom crosses the timeline. Now starting to bark out some signals. The Huskies moving along with his tune. And now he slows things up as South Florida going man-to-man. Jiscom down on the left side. Bounce pass down low to McKay. McKay loses the ball, loose on the ground. Vince Reynolds picks it up. Bad turnover for the Huskies, and South Florida has a chance to come within 3 points. Right now it's Connecticut 45, South Florida 40, 9:37 to go here in the action. This is Jim Grandholm, passing left side over to Vince Reynolds. Reynolds rolling the ball high over his head, gets it back to Grandholm. Pass goes on the right side to Dave Bastion. Bastion over to Tony Greer. Greer around the midcourt circle, now trying to make his moves on Bailey. Goes towards the left side, bounce pass in the corner to Bastion. He's being guarded by Jiscom. Pass in the middle, goes over to Escordia. Escordia quickly gets it back out to Bastion, and Bastion hands it over to Greer. They're going to try to take their time. They're going to need this basket. They want to set up, but the Husky defense doing well. Here's Greer driving down the middle, and Bailey stuffs him. Well, he's going to get a foul called, a slapping foul. The crowd doesn't like that. You can hear it in the background. But for Bailey, his first foul and the team's 5th, they're still not over the limit. And it's going to be a possession foul for South Florida. Huskies are going to have to stop fouling very quickly. If the Huskies, one thing we could mention right now, if the Huskies do end up getting a big lead, South Florida is going to be in quite a bit of trouble. They haven't had a team foul yet. And if they're going to want to foul and let the Huskies get on the line, they're not going to be able to do that because they're going to have 7 fouls first. Well, Greer's going to go to the line. They're going to say he was in the act of shooting on the season. Greer's shooting 75% from the free throw line, and he connects on his first one, cutting the Husky lead to 4, 45-41. Let's see if the Huskies box out here. They've been having problems rebounding on the free throw line. Greer ends up hitting, so it doesn't really matter. 16 points for Tony, 45-42, and the Huskies lead cut back down to 3 with a little over 9 minutes to go. And the Huskies are going to try to spread out that offense. Jiscom driving towards the middle. Bounce pass in the corner to McKay. Back out to Jiscom. Giscombe gets it in the middle to Corey Thompson, over to Bailey, right side to Kaczynski. And Huskies now passing around the perimeter, looking down low, but no one's really down low to get the ball. This is Bailey looking down in the middle. No one there. Back to Thompson. Over to Giscombe. In the corner to McKay. McKay from the far corner passes back out to Giscombe. Over to Bailey. We're playing around with the perimeter. Now down low to McKay. Puts up a shot, a whistle, and a foul down low on Jorge Ascordia.
A nice play by Michael McKay, as he really didn't have any angle to make that basket. He was off balance as he went up with it. But he was smart in that basketball sense, because he drew the foul from Ascordia, and now he'll go to the line because he was in the act and he'll get two.
First team foul for South Florida, first for Ascordia, and Mike McKay going to the line. He's the hottest free throw shooter for the Huskies. 82.1%, 23 for 28. Let's see if he can connect here. Yes, he does. For McKay, his 11th point on the evening. 8:39 to go, 46-42. Connecticut on top by 4. McKay will try to convert the second of two.
The moon.
The moon.
I'm still impressed with wanting to go to the moon.
And McKay hits. 12 points for Mike McKay. 47-42. Huskies now full court. It looked to be still a man-to-man defense. Granholm has the ball stolen by Giscombe, and Giscombe runs over press row as he knocked the ball out of bounds, and listen to the crowd for Vernon Giscombe with his hustling play.
I tell you, don't take it for granted. Vernon loves the crowd, and that's where he ended up in the first row.
And they're going to give that ball to South Florida, but the crowd's still mumbling about that play. Giscombe almost got the steal, but he had to knock it out of bounds. South Florida will control as the Huskies go all the way back and fall into what I believe will be a 2-1-2 zone. This is Dave Bastian. Let's see how the South Floridians can shoot from the outside. They have not been tested much so far. Pass goes over to Ascordia. Ascordia top of the key to Greer. Greer dribbling the ball around. Huskies in that 2-1-2. Greer looking to the left, looking for Vince Reynolds. But now he's going to call a little bit of a motion offense. Top of the key over to Bastian. Bastian over to Ascordia. Back to Bastian. Left side to Greer. Long jumper, and he connects. So, yes, Greer can hit from the outside. 18 points for him. 47-44. And the Huskies come back the other way. 8 minutes exactly to go here in this contest. And Connecticut on top by 3. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau from Hartford, Connecticut, the Connecticut Mutual Classic. This is Vernon Giscombe. Giscombe driving, gets it in Norman Bailey. Bailey drives, shoots, misses. Rebound tapped around. Thompson up with it. He throws it up. No good. Rebound loose, and coming up with it is Tony Greer. So the Huskies had a couple opportunities to put the ball in the hoop, could not do so. And South Florida going to try to cut the Husky lead to 1 point. 7.5 minutes to go. This is Greer, right side. He's unguarded. Open jumper, and he misses. Rebound down low. Still falling for it. Coming up with this, Norman Bailey. Bailey quickly out to McKay. 2-on-1 break over to Giscombe. Over to Bailey. To McKay. He throws it up. No good. Rebound down low. A whistle. And I believe we're going to have a foul called on Mike McKay. So McKay had a chance for the layup, and he missed it. And the Huskies come up with their 16th foul, the second on Mike McKay. One more and they'll be over the limit. 7:20 to go. And the Husky lead is only down to 3 points, and South Florida has another opportunity to get back in this game. Willie Redden getting set to check back in. This is Dave Bastian. Bastian gets a pass in the middle to Granholm. Granholm pass on the left side over to Ascordia. Ascordia back to Granholm, who gets it over to Bastian. Bastian this year was a transfer from Butler. He was a walk-on, and he earned a scholarship on this USF team, so quite a ways did Bastian come. Here's Greer, he trips on the play, ball loose, and we're going to get a travel call as Greer slipped on the floor, and Willie Redden re-enters the game.
Willie Redden will check in for number 32, Jorge Ascordia, and checking in the Connecticut lineup, Bruce Kaczynski will come out of the lineup,
and Chuck Alex Innes
will check back in.
So the Huskies coming back the other way from left to right. Vernon Giscombe crosses the timeline. 6:51 to go. Huskies with that 3-point lead. They're going to have to connect sooner or later. Here's Mike McKay, right side to Bailey. Bailey fakes once, and he's going to get called for the travel, as he did end up connecting that shot, but unfortunately he took a few too many steps in the beginning there. And the Huskies, nothing seems to be going right. They're playing up and down basketball this contest against a very tough South Florida team. But this crowd hoping the Huskies would pull away and take it to the Floridians like they did to Western Kentucky last season in their finals of the Mutual Classic. Redden on the left side gets over to Reynolds. Reynolds back to Redden, who's at the top of the three-point circle. Pass goes on the right side to Tony Greer. Greer looking to make his move. Can't do so. Passes over to Jim Granholm. Left side to Bastian. Huskies still playing man-to-man. That's the longest I've seen them play man-to-man this season. Doing a great job as well. Bastion holding the ball high above his head, now dribbling, looking on the right side, looking down low, gets it over to Grandholm. Grandholm being confronted by McKay, throws him a shot, rebound Bailey, and a nice rebound by Bailey as he went over Vince Reynolds to make that Tony Greer. Huskies back the other way. Here's Alex Innes, a long jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound, Bailey again, and Bailey coming out with 2 big rebounds. Bailey bounces it over to Vern Giscombe. 5:55 to go. Huskies still up by 3. A very low-scoring contest, 47-44. Mike McKay, right side, looking down low. Robert Thompson knocked away nicely by Willie Redden. Good defensive play. But the Huskies will get the ball back underneath their own basket. 5:46 to go. Mike McKay will inbounds the ball. Huskies setting up some sort of play. Robert goes into Giscombe. Giscombe gets it back to McKay. McKay wide open jumper off the rim. Rebound again, Bailey, but he was hit. But they're not going to call a foul. They're going to say went out of bounds. Last touch by Bailey. Huskies lose the ball, and the crowd not too happy with that call. South Florida gets the ball in. This is Dave Bastion. Bastion dribbling in. He's being guarded again by Giscombe. Giscombe looking for the steal. Remember, Huskies 16 fouls. South Florida with 1 team foul. 1 more, and the Huskies will be over the limit. 5.5 minutes to go in the contest. And Willie Redden controlling the ball. Redden left side to Greer. Greer the high scorer for South Florida with 18 points. He's averaging 19 on the season. Greer top of the key to Grandholm. Grandholm left side gets it back over to Vince Reynolds. Reynolds looking to drive on Thompson. No go. And it gets back to Bastion. Bastion over to Greer. Greer had a notion to shoot. Now he's going to slow things up just a little bit. 5:10 to go. And here's an alley-ooper down low to Grandholm. A whistle on the play. And let's see a foul on Grandholm as he was pushing off. And Norman Bailey saying, hey, nice call, Mr. Referee. You saw it. Second team foul on South Florida. We have another substitution.
Checking into the Connecticut lineup, number 14, Carl Hobbs. And checking out will be number 12, Sonny Giscombe.
First foul for Grandholm. Second on the team. They've only had 7 fouls this whole contest. No one's in foul trouble. And here come the Huskies the other way. Carl Hobbs passing the right side to Mike McKay. McKay looking down low. Alex Innes trying to box out. Can't do so. Gets over to Bailey. Bailey down low to Thompson. Thompson out to Hobbs. Hobbs back to Bailey. Bailey over to Alex Innes. Quick passing, but no one's really open for the shot. And it goes back out to Hobbs. 4:46 to go. This game has been at 47-44 for quite some time. Hobbs into Alex Innes. He misses the ball. It bounces off Willie Redden back to Hobbs again. And the Huskies get very lucky, but no one has scored for at least 4 or 5 minutes of play, I believe. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. Here's Alex Innes from the foul line, and he hits!
As soon as you speak, you know somebody's going to score.
And I'm glad it was Connecticut. 7 points for Alex Innes, 49-44. And a little bit of a comforting lead, now up to 5 points. And Tony Greer's going to have to bring back South Florida. Greer over to Redden. Redden on the right side gets it over to Vince Reynolds. Reynolds into the corner to Greer. And a fine job being done by Norman Bailey all day on Greer. Even though Greer has had 18 points, he really is only connected when he was totally wide open. Bastion now controlling the ball, being guarded by Hobbs, left corner into Reynolds. And another great job by Thompson on Reynolds. Pass goes out and around the Bastion. Jumper from 20 off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound, Thompson. Thompson quickly gets it out to Hobbs. Almost a mistaken play. Hobbs over to Bailey. Bailey's jumper, bang!
Pretty play. Make it 51-44 Connecticut with 3:40 to go.
14 points for Norman Bailey. The Huskies now starting to pull out. And we have a horn. Wait a minute, now some confusion. The referees have not blown the whistle. There's now 6 men on the court. Now the referee blows the whistle as the horn sounded. Escortia came into the contest. The referee never told him to come into the contest. Let's see exactly what they're going to call. I think it's going to be Connecticut's ball. Let's see what it's going to be.
Getting back to Norman Bailey on his 14th point on the season. That makes his seasonal high because he had 13 versus New Hampshire.
And Dom Perno is just adamant there on the court. It is Dom Perno. He's telling the referee there was 6 men on the court when the ball was in play. We should have a technical. We should get the ball. But the referee are saying no, it's going to be South Florida's ball. The substitution comes into the game. It's Willie Redden taking the seat and Jorge Escortia coming into the game. And South Florida has the ball. This is Dave Bastion. Right side passes over to Tony Greer. And Greer trying to do something. He's right around the 28-foot line, and he's not really moving with the ball. Finally, he's trying to make a move. Goes toward the middle, gets by number 30, Norman Bailey. Throws him a shot and connects. Tony Greer with his 20th point on the evening. 3:12 to go. 51-46. Connecticut on top by 5. Carl Hobbs dribbling the ball around. And he gets it out the top of the key to Alex Innes. Alex Innes looked to shoot back to Hobbs. Hobbs looking down low. And now he passes it all the way out to Norman Bailey. Bailey right around half court, being guarded tightly there by Tony Greer. Bailey bounced pass to McKay. McKay has been fouled by Dave Bastion. the third team foul for South Florida, so they are still far away from the limit.
I was going to say, I didn't see the referee put up the arm at first, and I was going to say if Mike McKay doesn't get to go to the line or get the ball on that one, then the Huskies, something's wrong with the refereeing. 51-46, Connecticut has the basketball.
McKay inbounds it over Norman Bailey. Bailey out to Hobbs. Hobbs right around the midcourt line. Less than 3 minutes to go in this contest for the championship of the Connecticut Mutual Classic. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau on your sound alternative, WHUS stores. Let's thank a couple of people as we can, as we will a little bit later. Of course, Royal Stark for engineering this evening. Here's Mike McKay, top of the foul line, down low to Thompson, but it was last touched by Thompson as he missed the ball, and he thought it was last touched by South Florida, but no go. And South Florida will get the ball underneath the Connecticut basket, 2:30 to go, and the Huskies holding a 5-point lead, and it's not a very steady lead at that. Here's Dave Bastian, and Bastian's been playing ball handler most of this contest. As we said a little bit earlier, he was a walk-on, and he had to earn his scholarship here for South Florida. Bastian in the corner, top of the key to Escordia. Escordia jumping from the foul line, and he hits. And for Jorge Escordia, his first 2 points of the evening, and what an opportune time for those to come. 51-48, Connecticut on top by 3, 2:05 to go, and Don Perno's telling the offense to spread it out. Hobbs left side to Bailey, and into Thompson. Thompson off a bank shot, good!
A big basket for Connecticut with 1:56 to go. Puts the Huskies up by 5, 53-48.
Always go to Mr. Dependable, and Thompson comes through with 12 points. He has my vote for the all-turning team. Tony Greer can join the ball. Also, another vote might go to Mike McKay, who played a sparkling game in the first contest. Here's Tony Greer. He's driving down the lane. He banks it for 2, and what a shot by Tony. He might be another choice for all-tournament team. A lot of players doing very well in this tournament for both teams that are in the game right now. Here's Thompson. Thompson over to Bailey. 1:26 to go. Huskies up by 3, 53-50. And it's going to come down to foul shooting. But like we said, South Florida only has 3 team fouls. So once they foul, the Huskies will not have to go to the line. Here's Carl Hobbs being guarded by Bastian. Hobbs dribbling the ball around. They're going to try to slow this game up to just a crawl. Now down low from McKay to Thompson. Over to Alex Innis. He gets fouled as he tried to jam it. What a play. A beautiful pass from McKay to Thompson to Alex Innis. A foul. And let's see if they're going to call the basket.
I tell you, if they don't give him a foul, that's got to be embarrassing because Chuck went for the slam, hit the back rim, similar to Norman Bailey up at UMass, and that's one where you just want to bury your head and hide. But
I believe Alex Innis might have got hammered on that play. The foul called against Jim Grandholm. 1:07 to go. Huskies on top, 53-50. And I believe we're going to have a timeout on the court, and that's exactly what we're going to have. Let's go over some of the scoring as we have it right now. Mark, go over some of the top scorers.
Oh, okay.
Give me a break.
Michael McKay, I should say Norman Bailey leads the Huskies with 14 points. The Huskies with 3 players in double figures. Corny Thompson with 12. Michael McKay with 12. And Michael gets my vote for the tournament MVP because I think he has just played a super tournament, and he's been very consistent. Last night, 23. Tonight, 12 so far. Looking down the Husky roster after that, Chuck Alexson is with 7. He hasn't had a great tournament, but steady with a 7. Bruce Kaczynski with 4. Carl Hobbs and Vernon Giscombe each checking in with 2 digits. Tony Greer leads it all the way for South Florida, 22 points. Then we have Vince Reynolds with 9, Willie Redden with 4, Jim Granholm with 4, Jorge Escordia with 2, Charles Bradley with 4, and Dave Bastian with 5. So there you have it. Tony Greer picking up most of the slack, and between him and Vince Reynolds, they have 31 of South Florida's 50 points.
And both benches getting ready to get back into this contest.
Chuck Alexinas will be on the line. He'll get to shoot 2. The Huskies lead this one 53-50. At one point, they had an 11-point lead, but that slid down to 4 at the half, and then it has been back and forth between 7 and 3, 7 and 4, and now with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go, they have a 3-point lead. However, they have a very consistent foul shooter on the line. Chuck on the season is shooting almost 74% from the line.
After this game, South Florida will play home versus Siena, and then Wisconsin, Green Bay, Baltimore, and then they'll start the Sun Belt Conference action Sunday the 10th versus Jacksonville, a game which will be shown on ESPN. So if you want to check up on this team, that'll be on ESPN. And Chuck hits his first. So a big foul shot made by Chuck Alexinas, his 8th point on the evening. 54-50, Connecticut on top by 4. Chuck hits his second one. The Huskies are spotless from the line. 9 points on the evening, 55-50, 1:05 to go, and taking his time coming across the half court is Tony Greer. Greer dribbling towards the right side, gets in the corner of the bastion. Huskies still playing man-to-man. Nope, make that a zone, a 1-2-2 zone. A very good call by Tom Perno. This is Grandholm. Grandholm right side to Bastion. Bastion right side in the corner. Up to a score, and he loses it out of bounds. Lee Rose not too happy with his ball players. 47 seconds left. Connecticut on top by 5. 55-50. They have the ball. McKay to Thompson. To McKay back to Thompson over to Carl Hobbs. 43 seconds. Hobbs dribbling up the court. And he gets fouled there by Reynolds, but only the 15th foul. And again, the Huskies won't go to the line. And I was saying that earlier in the half that South Florida was holding their own in fouls. And it would be impossible to put the Huskies on the line for the 1-and-1 if they didn't pick up more fouls as they went along.
Connecticut now calls a timeout. Talk over a little strategy as South Florida only has 5 team fouls. Connecticut with a very steady 5-point lead, 55-50, and it looks very secure with only 40 seconds to go, although only time will tell.
And as we said, the Huskies' next game will be starting the Big East action, and they'll be playing Syracuse this coming up Wednesday, or make that next Wednesday, 1 week from tonight at the Carrier Dome. Airtime 7:55 on the Sound Alternative. And then the next action after that, January 9th versus Seton Hall.
And while we have this chance here, we'd like to wish everyone out there, all our listeners, a Happy New Year.
And a very safe New Year also.
Yes.
And hopefully 1982 will be just as good, and hopefully not as bad as 1981.
And I'd like to wish you and your newly acquired fiancé Happy New Year's. As Harold is tying the knot, I tell you, I'm proud of you, Ed, and I thought you did, but he brought her a big chunk of ice, and I don't know where he gets it. Certainly not from WHUS, but we all want to congratulate Harold on getting your engaged over the Christmas break.
I owe you one. UConn 55, South Florida 50. And our next broadcast will be in 1982. Of course, a lot of good things happened in 81. 2 national championships to University of Connecticut in field hockey and in soccer. And Mark Boudreau still getting that tan from California.
Still have those avocados stuck in my shorts.
40 seconds to go, and the Huskies will be the winners of the Connecticut Mutual Classic if they can hold on to that 5-point lead. South Florida pressing man-to-man. Corey Thompson looking to take the ball out right around midcourt. And 15,000 people still in their seats, except for a few way up in the rafters. But this game very exciting as Huskies really have held out the whole way, which is kind of surprising. Surprising. I thought South Florida with their height was going to be a little bit more of a factor, but they could not hold out. The Huskies' man-to-man defense held very nicely. I'd like to thank Royal Stark and the Women's Radio Collective and Panorama all for helping us bring you this broadcast this evening.
Thanks, Royal.
And the ball comes into Carl Hobbs. Hobbs dribbling the ball around. This is a 4-hour consecutive broadcast, and we'd like to thank ourselves. Hobbs gets it over to Corey Thompson. Thompson over to Bailey. Bailey drives the middle. Bounce pass to Alex. 28 seconds. Cross-court pass to Hobbs. Almost out of bounds. Hobbs saves it, calls the timeout. No, he stepped on the line first. And so with 25 seconds, there'll be a turnover. No real big deal. They're up by 5 points, and South Florida will have the ball. They're going to need a miracle to win this one, though.
Carl did that one last year. He got away with it, but this time he was on the line.
Bastion, left side over to Grandholm. In the corner to Greer. He's their leading scorer, but Greer won't shoot. 19 seconds. They got to get the ball in the net. Greer gets the ball back from Grandholm. Long jumper off the rim. Rebound Thompson. It looks like the Huskies are going to come up victors in this one. 10 seconds to go. Thompson's fouled again, and still only the 16th foul for South Florida. The big difference is South Florida waited just a little bit too late to foul. And a second team foul for Greer. The Huskies will take the ball out and underneath the South Florida basket with the 5-point lead.
I have to give Mike McKay my MVP, though. I don't know, Harold. What do you think?
It's a very good one. McKay did the job in the first game, did a very good job here in the second game. Matter of fact, he was responsible for really bringing South Florida into the man-to-man also for both games because his outside shooting really did a good job. Bailey played very well this evening. Thompson has been steady, and he's a favorite of the fans. But I don't know. Mike McKay deserves some recognition. He played a spotless game yesterday, and today he's been not much of a slouch either. He's really done the job for the Huskies. So, hey, I'll go along with you. And for a tourney team, why don't we just go and try to pick our own tourney team, see what we can come up with. I would say McKay and Thompson, along with Tony Greer. And if we have to pick one from each of the other two teams, I'm not even sure who I would pick for LaSalle, but St. Bonaventure, I think I would look to Mark Jones. And LaSalle, let's see who we might go with. Tom Piotrowski, I think I would go with.
All right, I'll buy that. I'll take that.
Because if I saw the first game final statistics, Piotrowski had 18, along with Black, and Dallas Filson had 16. But in the first contest, Piotrowski had 16, Black had 18, but those weren't a very impressive 18. He was shooting from all over the place and not really hitting anything.
And I'd give Norman Bailey my six-man award because he has played as steady as you can play. He's really been tough, and last night he's played a steady game. Tonight again, he's starting to really shine through.
So we'll stay on the air to bring you the all-tourney team since we have time up to 11 o'clock. Thompson's going to call a timeout. He couldn't find anybody open. Smart move by the Huskies. And they'll go back to the bench one more time. 10 seconds still to go in this contest. They're going to have to find, I think what they might have done was just come out to see exactly what South Florida defense was going to be, man-to-man or zone. See if they can inbound that ball. Once they find out now, Don Perno's going to call the real play. And the Huskies are going to try to hold that 5-point lead for 10 seconds.
South Florida, shall they get a three-point play? They've got 10 seconds to get a three-point play. That would make them, let's speculate for a second, that would bring them within 2. It's 55-50 right now. They have one timeout left. Connecticut with 2. So there you have it. Here we stand, and the South Florida cheerleaders are out at center court doing their version of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The fans give them a round of applause. I don't know if it's for their rendition of that or if it's for the pretty girls out there. Now the Husky dog is trotting around on the shoulders of one of the male cheerleaders, and he is getting...
Hey, that's Joe Tomaselli from WHUS.
That Husky dog, always up to no good, I tell you.
Okay, ball in bounds, and a beautiful play as it went from Thompson to Hobbs back to Thompson, but they're going to say that he was out of bounds when the ball came back to Thompson, so the Huskies lose it. No time ticked on the clock. And there should have been at least 1 second on the clock, but no time. South Florida will get the ball out underneath their own basket, and inbounding it will be Bastion. Bastion looking down low. He gets it in the Granholm, but Granholm throws it out of bounds, and the Huskies will get it back, and still no time is ticked off the clock.
I tell you, the 2 fastest inbounding plays I've ever seen in my life.
Less than a second for both of them. Now the Huskies will try it one more time. Let's go for a long ball pass. Here we go. Thompson to Hobbs at midcourt. Hobbs, Alexis, let's look for the dunk. Bang! 11 points for the big man. 3, 2, 1. And this one belongs to the Connecticut Huskies. The Connecticut Mutual Classic goes to the host team, the Connecticut Huskies, for the second consecutive year, the third time in 4 years. What an exciting contest. The final score from Hartford, Connecticut was UCONN 57 and South Florida 50. And we're going to keep it right here. We're going to wait and try to find the all-tournament team for you. And then we're going to wrap it up very quickly. And at 11 o'clock, we're going to probably go to some more music. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. But right now the awards are getting ready to be set up. Right around midcourt as this crowd of 15,000 saw one whale of a game. Those Connecticut Huskies defeating South Florida 57-50. Their record is up to 8-1. South Florida falls to 7-2, and the only other team South Florida did lose to was North Carolina. So that's some pretty good company. And that score by North Carolina, check this one out, an away contest, 75-39. What a whipping! So South Florida on the year is 1-2 on the road, and they are 7-0 at home. And I believe they like that Sun Dome back in Florida. Matter of fact, this is the third time they've lost to Connecticut now, and I believe we're gonna see what kind of awards we're going to get
for high score.
And see exactly what kind of awards we're going to get. Let's go over the scoring right now as we have it. For the Connecticut Huskies, their leading scorer was Norman Bailey with 14 points. Some very close scoring. After that, Mike McKay and Corny Thompson each scoring 12 points apiece. It's 12 points apiece. Chuck Alexanis adding 11. Bruce Kaczynski with 4. Carl Hobbs and Vernon Giscombe with 2 apiece. For the Bulls of South Florida, Tony Greer had a game-high 22 points, 9 for Vince Reynolds, 5 for Dave Bastion, 4 each for Charles Bradley, Jim Granholm, and Willie Redden, and 2 for Jorge Escordia. But the big news is Vince Reynolds, who had a 12-point average, only held to 9, and Willie Redden, who had an 11-point average, only held to 4. And this is Dennis Mullane, the president of the Connecticut Mutual Life, and let's hear what he has to say.
University with a great tradition, academically and athletically, and Connecticut Mutual is proud to have been a small part of this great event. Now, Huskies, let's go get to the Big East.
Dennis Mullane, the president of Connecticut Mutual Life, and most of the fans are still here. And the Huskies, as we said, opening up that Big East schedule next Wednesday, and this is the best time for them to peak. This is probably one of their 2 best games of the year. as they really stuck it to the bodies last night, and tonight a hard-fought win over a very tough South Florida team who is among the best in the country.
Present the first and second place trophies. The second place trophy to the University of South Florida and Coach Lee Rose.
Man, what a job Lee Rose has done with South Florida. Brought them from 6-21 2 years ago to 18-11 last year. Right now they're standing at 7-2, and Lee Rose going out with Willie Redden, Tony Greer, and I believe number 40, Vince Reynolds.
I got a dang you. I don't know. There's
You have a fan club.
My alternating team. I've got a couple of cousins and a cousin-in-law to be, so there you have it.
You got a couple of cousin-in-law to be. Where's that rock? And there's the second place trophy going to South Florida.
1981 Connecticut Mutual Classic, University of Connecticut Huskies and Coach Tom Burnow.
And listen to the crowd. And now we're waiting for the all-tourney team. As we said just a little bit earlier, our picks, Mark Jones, Petrowski of LaSalle, Mike McKay, Corny Thompson, and Tony Greer. And we're going to say MVP Mike McKay.
McKay and Jim Sullivan will present Mr. Mullane with the game ball.
Four seniors presenting Dennis Mullane, the president of the Connecticut Mutual Life, with the game ball. It's a nice gesture for Connecticut. Why not, after all that money is put into this program? And a very well-run program it is. We have to thank everybody who's associated with this program. They have just done an outstanding job. All the press facilities, all the the teams that have been brought in here.
This year, due to the extreme closeness of the ballot, there will be 6 players recognized as members of the team.